What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. And this is where we at now. So you clearly see the title of the broadcast, and we're talking about the newly elected mayor of New York City. And, we're getting people out here that are saying that this is a tragedy. And I get it, because it definitely seems like a tragedy. It's false promises, a bunch of craziness going on. And I don't understand how New York has allowed this foolery to get to this point. But maybe I do. Maybe I do. Because for the longest, New York has been voting a certain way and allowing all these crazy individuals to govern them. So they have this mayor now. And we're going to go here now. We're going to find out some things. And listen, look, quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
Tell you right now, there must really be some stupid people in New York City. I honestly do believe this. Just with a little bit of deep diving on Google, one, that new mayor that y'all voted in the other day, he has no control over the rent. None whatsoever. So he lied to you there. He also has no control over the bus, so he cannot make it free. Now, he can suggest, same with the rent, but whether they do it is up to them. But he can't force them into doing it. So, and grocery stores, the free grocery stores, it's a $60 million startup. Where's he going to get that 60 million from? You think the rich are going to do it? Yeah, right. The rich are packing up their shit now and moving to other states. They're not stupid. So who's going to pay it? You are.
Right. And that's where it's at. Right there with the taxpayers that are not a part of the 1%, that can't just pick up and go like the 1 to 2% can. And that's where they're going to be. They're going to be paying for it. We just saw across the internet waves that Mamdani just came out. Oh, well, do you remember when I told you guys to not send any money to my campaign? Well, you can send money again. We've seen that footage. I know you have out there too. We cannot be stupid about the agenda and things like that this man is on. And I also seen the acceptance speech that he did. He was totally out of pocket. He talked about nothing but his own people and stuff like that, and how he's going to promote his own kind and things like that over the American citizens that technically voted him in. I don't understand you liberals out there. You vote in a dude that's clearly going against you. He says it outright in his acceptance speech, and you're still wanting your city to go down, and the rest of America as well. That's the hidden agenda. These crazy leftists want America to go down. This is wild and totally ridiculous, man. Highly disrespectful to what this country actually stood for. Even as a descendant of a slave, of slaves, I still have more respect for this country than a lot of these super leftist people do. Just off the fact that in this country, you can make something of yourself if you apply yourself the proper way. And definitely in today's society, I get things happen in the past and stuff like that, but in today's society, you can make it if you apply yourself. Stop being stupid out here. Stop being fucking lazy. Let's keep going here.
Pull up New York, and I say that from a place of concern and experience as a Londoner. Yesterday, catastrophically, Zohran Mamdani was elected as the mayor of New York. And I can tell you firsthand that it's going to be a shit show. And I know that because London elected Sadiq Khan as our mayor because of the scarily similar false promises that Zohran is making too. And if you look at London today, it is an undeniable, embarrassing mess. Sadiq promised us safety and security. He pledged to strengthen neighbourhood policing and make London safe again. In reality, there's been a 31% increase in crime since 2016 when he was elected. Mamdani has promised you community safety, tackling non-criminal safety issues through the new Department of Community Safety, which is going to take funding away from the NYPD, who actually deal with criminal safety issues.
And that's the thing. All this defunding the police, you know, and we heard this rhetoric from other places in the United States before, from government officials, and with this, you know, and just like basically like in Chicago, defunding the police. Why would you want to defund the police? You know, I also follow Michael Francis, and if you don't follow Michael Francis, he was an old mafia guy. He retired. He was blessed to get out the game, healthy, and, you know, telling the stories about how things used to go. Even he said that the old mafia guys would not promote this Mamdani guy. If you've never seen Michael Francis, look him up. He's on YouTube. Cool guy. Anyway, the thing of this is here, excuse me, is that we're at this point here to where she's living in London and they've moved to this socialist situation. I don't know how the true owners of the kingdom, but you know, London ain't been the same. They've fallen off God knows how long ago, you know, from what they used to be the superpower of the world. But that's neither here nor there nowadays. But this is crazy though, to see that people across the ocean is warning Americans about this man right here and what his true agenda is, and how they've seen this in other places from other people that they've, you know, elected to be in these positions and stuff, and how they actually ran things. It's crazy out here, but let's keep going.
Zohran has also pledged to tackle hate crime. Funny that Sadiq Khan promised that to us too. But anti-Semitism has skyrocketed consistently, year on year, since Sadiq was elected. He's been tackling Islamophobia well, though. In fact, Islamophobic hate crimes only rose 67%. In the same time, anti-Semitism rose 1,367%. From September 2023 till today. Interestingly, Islamophobia rose after attacks perpetrated by Muslims. And whilst I don't condone this, it is understandable that tensions were high after the Westminster Bridge attack, Lee Rigby being the Ariana Grande concert, and Axel Rudakabana, 3 young girls at a Taylor Swift parody concert. Interestingly, there hasn't been a single recorded attack by a Jew in London, and yet anti-Semitism is rising year in, year out. There are 10 times more Muslims in London than Jews, and Sadiq Khan has only looked after his own.
And that's the same that, you know, Zohran is going to do too, you know. And be honest with you, if we want to be logical about this situation, I get it. He's looking after his own, like we're supposed to look after our own too, as Americans. You know, we're supposed to look after us too. And these are just the facts that, you know, I get it. You new age people don't want to understand. It's in from what the information that I've gathered and stuff like that. It was a lot of young people that voted this man in and stuff like that. And, you know, the young people don't understand how things really work. They don't understand that they're going to get old one day and they're not going to want all this foolishness going on in their older years. But the thing of this is yes, we're here now and we're dealing with this one segment of our American society that's now going to be a very highly impacted socialist place, which is going to be New York City. I can't, I'm totally shocked that you people allowed to get to this point. But, you know, look at how y'all been voting for the past few decades here. This is ridiculous. But yeah, it's this is going to be a highly socialist society out here. I don't, you know, man, Jesus Christ, you people are burning New York down. I mean, y'all are burning it down out here. Shit, this is crazy. Let's go here now.
Mamdani's victory in New York City is just a result of decades of work from the socialists. And dear Democrats, thank you. You've been had. You have allowed, I don't want to hear any complaining later on. You allowed your party to be infiltrated by the very radical socialists.
Yep.
Who, by the way, don't care about you. They just used your platform to get in there. Mamdani ran as...
Hold on. So what she just say? Hold on here.
Don't care about you. They just used your platform to get in there.
So you mean to tell me that Mamdani used the Democratic Party, slapped on a little socialist title to gain access to the voter base and things like that? He used the Democratic Party just like the Democratic Party has been using the black people for the past 60 years. Hold on now. Let's just stop here. So Mamdani came in and done his due diligence to manipulate the Democratic Party, get on in there, do his thing, which they were already headed that way anyway. If we watched the past election, you know what I'm saying, they were already kind of headed that way anyway. So, you know, he smoothly came on in like a smooth criminal and did his thing. Now he's the new mayor of New York. Jesus, man. It shows sound familiar how all this manipulation be going on amongst the Democratic Party and black culture, black people in America for all these decades. Show sounds familiar to me, the manipulation. And also the rhetoric that's been put in our culture to destroy our homes and all other types of things.
Mamdani ran as a Democrat, but he also was listed on the ballot as a working families party. Okay? Because the socialists just utilize the Democratic Party to get in there. And it's not the first time that this happens in New York City. Take a look at what happened, 2-3 years ago?
Really prove that socialism wins. Anywhere. We are not going anywhere, and we will not stop until we see a socialist state across this city.
4 decades, we have ignored the voices that have told us that the U.S. is dangerously flirting with socialism. And the victory of Mamdani, sadly, is just going to give courage to more people that are socialists to come out and advocate for this system to be implemented nationwide. Yep.
And see, that's the thing, though. You know what I'm saying? But it's also another problem here. And I spoke upon this on my TikTok when I did a broadcast on there. The thing of this is of course, you know what I'm saying, we're all hearing the reports. The 1 to 2% are leaving New York. You know what I'm saying? The tax base that Mamdani said he's going to tax and give they're already paying 50s. He's going to give the extra 2 to tax these people and stuff like that, to give to, you know, the poor and all this and make everything free and all this other type of crap, which we all know that's bullshit, because he just came out and said, well, we need, you know, I need y'all to start giving me donations again. So now, you know, they're leaving. But the thing of this is, you know, people need to understand, once you come, you know, below the Mason-Dixon line, you need to understand that we love our life down here. We love, you know, cooking out. We love, you know, things like that. We love, you know, having fun, family, stuff like that. You know, and I'm not saying that the South doesn't have its own issues and stuff like that. We have fallen victim to the rhetoric of culture and stuff like that too, to a certain degree. But it is a huge difference between what's going on down South and what y'all doing up there in New York. A huge fucking difference, technically. And no, don't come down here trying to change, you know, these red states blue. It's not going to work. We're not going. And I think we're at a point here to where, if we remember history here, back in the day when, saying the North tried to, liberate the South from slavery and all this type of stuff and things like that, and that happened. And, it was a different day and time, hundreds of years ago. And they had to, rearrange things to get rid of slavery, all this other type of stuff. I think the situation is reversed now. I think the North is having its issues, and the socialism crap is basically going to enslave people and things like that, to where now the South is kind of a little bit more freer and not enslaving people to what Mamdani is trying to put the position that Mamdani is trying to put people in up there. It's not going to work down here at all. And, it just is what it is. So, man, this is what we at here. This is what we at. So, if this thing tries to spread, if this socialist crap tries to spread and it tries to get below the Mason-Dixon line, it's going to be another fucking civil war. It's not going to go down like y'all people are thinking out here. So we're going to keep going because there's always more on the bottom line. We're going to go right here. Let's check her out.
How much damage Mamdani can do as the mayor of New York City. Let's talk real estate. That's what got him elected. Because free rent and low rent promise. Like, why no one ever made this promise before? It makes so much sense. Why should anyone pay rent in New York City? It should be free. It should be affordable. Who's going to pay for it? Oh, that's right, billionaires. But how he's going to do it? Public housing. Think of beauty. So he is going to buy those.
We already had that public housing situation back in the 70s and 80s, stuff like that. If you remember that 60s, 70s, 80s, when they implemented the welfare system, when I can't think of that president's name that put the welfare system into place, but it grew into this monster that we see today, basically. And we had a shit ton of government housing. Nowadays, it's transformed into vouchers and stuff like that. You got people that can, get home vouchers. And if the people are willing to rent, to those home vouchers, they could stay in suburban neighborhoods and all types of crazy places. Okay. That, decades ago, most people wouldn't have took those vouchers in suburban neighborhoods and things like that. It is what it is. But this is where we at here. So, yeah. Him trying to sit there and say that he's going to get free housing and these grocery stores, everything for free and stuff like that. At the same time, though, too, on the back end now, he's coming out, I need y'all to start back giving me donations and all this type of dumbass shit. No, nothing is ever free on this planet. I don't care which side of the planet you go to. And I'm tired of these individuals coming out here trying to placate this rhetoric like life can be free. Just things are free. The only thing gonna be free to you is if you grow your own vegetables in your backyard. Of course, that's free to you, but it's not technically free because you still got to put in the work to plow the land, do other types of things, cultivate the vegetables, all types of stuff in order to get the reward. You still got to put in work, technically. And that's the issue with the society nowadays. Nobody wants to put in any work. They hear free this, free that, and all of a sudden the government's supposed to pay for this, it's supposed to do that. And what? This is crazy.
Buildings that are currently privately owned and convert them into city-run, owned and run apartments. Because these landlords are greedy bastards. They already operating at a loss because it's either rent stabilized or rent controlled, but no. He's going to make it even worse for them. Say we have to sell. And then the government's going to take over and make them just affordable and beautiful places. Wait, I've seen that before somewhere. That's right. I lived in one. I grew up in one in Soviet Union. This is what public housing looks like.
Ooh-wee. Man, this is worse than the ghettos in America. Hold on here.
Looks like.
Do you see this?
And housing looks like.
Jeez.
They have them in New York City too, called projects. Take a walk around and look how they look from at least outside. And be prepared that every single building that's government owned and operated is going to look like this.
Man. But like I said, though, we've seen this before. If y'all remember, you know, and I know my old heads up in my age, 42 plus, y'all remember, you know, there's definitely the 42 plus, you know, the 70s, 80s, stuff like that. Y'all remember what the ghettos used to look like in the Black community. Those were government ran, you know, housing projects. Housing projects. That's what we used to call them. Y'all remember that, right? We got to have long memories here, people. And this Mamdani guy is trying to get that back to that way, where the government actually was in control of government housing, all this other type of things and stuff like that. And we saw what a disaster that was. And we actually got to a point here in America to where we started getting out of that. You know what I'm saying? We had government housing in Chicago, all these places, you know, Robert Taylor Homes, Capri Greens, all the type of stuff got torn down, things like that. You know, a lot of places in New York got, you know, rehab and things. It's just, and that's what was going on. The government housing was a true disaster, definitely in the Black community. But now, you know, the Black people have been pushed out. Mamdani's coming in. He's going to bring his own people in and stuff like that. He even said that in his acceptance speech about, you know what I'm saying, bringing his people in technically. You know, he said it in such a, you know, a nice way till it went over a lot of people's heads and things. And that's how it went down. Listen, look, man. Listen, look. Excuse me. It went over a lot of you people's heads out there. And that's just the fact, man. Mamdani is not going to do well by New York. And we're going to see how it's going to go down over his term in New York. You know, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. But y'all about to find out. You know, y'all have allowed this shit to go down in one of our major prestigious cities. California is already going to shit. Chicago is going to shit. And, you know, New York is going to shit. We've allowed our major cities in this country to just be overran by complete socialism. And that's just the basic point. And it's sad to see what's going on here. And if we don't contain this disease that's going on around here, that's technically worse than having AIDS, America's going to fall. And these are just the facts. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.